One important thing about this that I'd like you to notice, time to sell, 32 minutes. Total so far made from the broken vacuum cleaner and net profit alone was off. This is one of those items that when I found, I was excited to find. eBay rolled out a new buyer feedback, and I'm actually kind of surprised by this because this is, since I've started reselling, this is a rare occurrence where the rule they're putting out is actually to the advantage of the seller. Welcome back, everybody. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I woke up on the right side of the bed this morning. I'm having a pretty good day, pretty good week overall. I hope you guys are feeling the same. I want to start off by saying thank you guys all for the kind comments last week and all the support. It's truly appreciated. I think it's important to know that like all of us get burnt out who do this at some point or another. And I really appreciate the support you guys gave me while I was going through my burnout period. Thankfully, we're back. We're better than ever, and I hope your guys' periods of burnouts are as minimal as possible. But I got to be honest, this has been a pretty good week for the business, for me personally. Just feels like we're making progress this week. We have a big update on something from a long time ago on this channel, which is kind of nice. And I also got a reminder for you guys this weekend. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. This week, we had a gross sales of $640, which equaled out to be a net of $339. Our average gross per sale was $26.67, and our average net per sale was $14.14. That was a net profit margin of 53% for the week, which is awesome, and an average net profit margin per sale of 49%. Net return by sources this week, 2 local Goodwills taking up the #1 spot. Again, hats, jerseys, sports jerseys and hats have been doing really good for me this week. Sunglasses holding in the #3 spot, and then donated and then a mix of thrift stores from there on out. Spent a total of $0 on new inventory this week. This is actually true. I did not go sourcing this week, which is probably one of the reasons I've been having a good week, is because one of my days wasn't lost to driving 50 to 150 miles to get inventory. But I have a death pile that I'm working on, and I decided I didn't want to add to the death pile. I'd like to actually dwindle my death pile down a little bit before I start sourcing again. But the problem is when you do different categories, you feel like you always need to have certain things for that categories, whether it's shirts, hats, sunglasses, remotes. But yeah, I did not go sourcing this week because I still have a lot of stuff. Cost of goods sold this week was $57.48. I paid eBay a total of $88.76 in marketplace fees. And I paid parcel services $141 for shipping labels. Continued on my goal of 8 new listings a week for 56 total for the week. And we had 24 sales. A little bit less than our average of 30, but still they're quality sales. And one thing with that this week, I decided this week, now that we're going into Q4, I'm the type of guy that when I send out offers, I send out really good offers. Like I don't do the standard 5%. Like I'll do 15 to 25% on the offers I send out. So this week I wanted to see if just sending out 5% offers, A, made a difference in sales numbers, and B, it made a difference in the net profit brought in. And so far, first week, I mean, this is all anecdotal, but I'm going to continue doing this for Q4 this year. Is all the offers I send out are only going to be 5% offers. I will go into back and forth negotiations and go up from 5%, like if somebody makes me a counter offer. But I'm going to try just sticking to 5%. And I want to see if the less sales I make because I don't do as big of offers is made up for in the amount of money I make from the 5% offers that do get accepted. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised on how many of my 5% offers have been accepted, but obviously being short of our average of 30 a week, I did notice that there's a dip in the number of sales during the week. So take that for what it's worth, but we made $340 net profit for the week, which is about average for me. So does it all equal out for me? I don't know. We're going to continue trying this out and see how it works. Average time to list something in my store this week was 2 months. Average time to sell something in my store this week was 6 months. I had a return of investment of 497% for the week, and I had an average return on investment per sale of 564% this week. Jumping right into the top 10, number 10 is this Milwaukee Brewers men's XL Majestic quarter zip pullover in heather gray. I picked this up for $5.44 at a Goodwill in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It sold on eBay for $30 even. That was $20.65 for the pullover, $9.35 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $6.17. That provided me a net return of $13.44, which was a 247% return on investment and a 45% net profit margin. Baseball season has come to an end. So don't be surprised if you've got playoff team merchandise that starts selling like crazy. Also, if you're a Dodgers fan, go Dodgers. We clinched the West. Yeah. Go Dodgers. Pretty pumped about that. But Brewers, also big Brewers fan. So don't be surprised if you see some if your favorite baseball team or if your local baseball team is in the playoffs and you have that merchandise, don't be surprised if you start seeing that fly off the shelf. Number 9 sale of the week are these Foster's Grant sunglasses. They are FGLP 23 1011 tortoise polarized. Picked these up for $1.12 on eBay. They sold on eBay for $24.18. That was $16.78 for the sunglasses, $7.40 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.52. That provided me a net return of $15.16, which was a 1,354% return on investment and a 63% net profit margin. Number 8 sale of the week is this United States Marine Corps Woodland Camo Baseball Cap made by Rothko. I picked this baseball cap up for $2.66 from a local Goodwill. It sold on eBay for $28.03. That was $19.98 for the hat, $8.05 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.90. That provided me a net return of $15.65, which is a 588% return on investment and a 56% net profit margin. One important thing about this hat that I'd like you to notice, time to sell, 32 minutes. This thing literally sold 32 minutes after I posted it. And it was in really good shape, very crisp, very vibrant, and full of color. I knew this hat was going to do good. I did not realize it was going to sell in 32 minutes good, though. So if you do find any Woodland camos with the Marine Corps symbol hats on them, pick them up, because this one sold really good for me. This is the first one I've ever gotten, so I don't know if this is just a fluke, but it sold pretty quick for me. Number 7 sale of the week are these Foster's Grant driving lenses, brown tortoiseshell wrap frames. I picked these up for $1.75 on eBay. They sold on eBay for $25.58. That was $17.98 for the sunglasses, $7.60 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $15.72. That provided me an 898% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. And for the blast from the past item that I discussed earlier in the episode, we have this Shark rotator vacuum dustbin. And this is a Shark vacuum that used to be my personal Shark vacuum, and it broke about a year ago. And instead of throwing it away, we ran an experiment here where we took all the parts off it and listed the parts individually. And we had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts that came off of it. And this was the part number 7 that sold. It was the dustbin. And I picked this up for $0 because it was from home. And it sold on eBay for $30.84. That's $14.99 for the dustbin, $15.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.49. That provided me a net return of $19.16, which was an infinite return on investment and a 62% net profit margin. And of the 9, like I said, of the 9 items, this is the 7th item to sell. And it made a $19.16 profit. And it was predicted to be the 5th item that sold based on sell-through rate, for those that remember what we were doing in this project. And total so far made from the broken vacuum cleaner in net profit alone was $147.05 currently on the vacuum. And I still have 3 parts left. I still have the reach head, I have the roller base, and I have the... one more. I know there's one more. The bare floor brush. So those are the 3 items I have left on that. Once those sell, we'll be done with it. We'll find out how much I made by parting out a vacuum. Currently sitting at 7 items sold, $147.05 in net profit. Number 4 sale of the week is this Boston Red Sox 2XL Mitchell & Ness thin hoodie. I picked this hoodie up for $3.75 from a local Goodwill. It sold on eBay for $35.15. That was $25 for the hoodie, $10.15 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $6.72. That provided me a net return of $15.12, which was a 55% net profit margin. Number 4, sale of the week is this vintage men's large US Navy full zip jacket in tan, water and wind resistant. I picked this jacket up for $2.80 from a local St. Vincent de Paul's. It sold on eBay for $36.20. That was $23 even for the jacket, $13.20 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $8.50. That provided me a net return of $20.02, which was a 715% return on investment and a 55% net profit margin. Jacket season is here. If you haven't been, make sure you're picking up jackets when you can get them on a good price, in good condition, and they will sell. I did really well last winter with jackets, and I can already tell this year I'm doing really good with jackets. Actually, I don't know if you could see this brown leather bomber jacket right here. I've actually accepted an offer on it for $160. The person hasn't paid yet. I messaged them yesterday and I said, hey, it's ready to ship, just waiting on payment. And they asked me if I could hold on to it for a couple days until they get paid. And I said, absolutely no problem. But there's a $160 sale that's just waiting to get paid for right there. And it's jackets. Jackets do so well. I can't tell you guys enough. If you're not buying jackets for the winter season, that's something you might really want to look into and start considering. And take your time and research it if you're new to it, because not all jackets are worth money. I think one of my most expensive items I've ever sold was a LA Raiders jacket from the 90s. That was $350. This one's $160. I've sold a Ralph Lauren one for $160. Jackets do really well for me, and they're going to sell during the winter, so make sure you're picking those up. Number 3, sale of the week, and the last sale of the week. This sold last night shortly before midnight. I just got done packaging it up before I started filming here. It's this Rawlings RSB SS13W 13-inch softball glove. So this softball glove was brand new with tags on it when I picked it up, and I picked this up at a local Goodwill for $3.75. And it sold on eBay for $50.48, which was $40.48 for the glove, $10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $6.45. That provided me a net return of $33.52, which was an 894% return on investment and a 66% net profit margin. I knew right away when I saw this baseball glove. You guys know I like to sell baseball gloves in general. I like selling vintage ones, old ones, new ones. Very rarely will you ever find a new one for this price, because baseball gloves are so expensive right now. And I guarantee if you can find a baseball glove that's over 12 inches, no matter, without it being beat up, as long as it's it can be heavily used, heavily worn, it will sell. But as long as it's not missing strings or missing pieces on it, baseball gloves always do really well for me. All right, number 2 sale of the week. This is one of those items that when I found, I was excited to find. I grew up a huge Green Bay Packers fan. My family had season tickets to Lambeau Field before we moved to Florida. So I grew up a diehard Packers fan. Obviously, I worshiped the ground Brett Favre walked on as a kid. And I found this in a local thrift store. It is a Green Bay Packers Super Bowl 31 championship snapback from New Orleans. Brand new with all the tags, the price tags, and the hologram and everything on it. When I saw this thing in the Goodwill, I was absolutely blown away, because I was like, how is this item hanging on the shelf and I'm the first person to even touch it? I obviously knew this was going to sell really quickly, and it sold in 7 days. I picked it up at a local Goodwill for $2.66. It sold on eBay for $47.85. That was $40 even for the hat, $7.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship the item was $4.74, which provided me a net return of $34.22, which is a 1,286% return on investment and a 72% net profit margin. Again, this is one of those items where I was worried I was going to want to keep it, which I did. I thought it was super cool to even hold it in my hands, but we were okay letting go of it for a $35 profit. So yeah, I thought this was a really cool item. And the number 1 sale of the week is this HP PhotoSmart 422 GoGo Photo Studio Camera Printer Remote. Everything was tested, working order, and a video showing it working. This item was part of my mom and dad's move. My mom's had this for years and years and years. She's had this photo set up. Obviously, you could tell my mom takes very good care of her stuff. Everything was in pristine condition. So I got this for $0, and it sold on eBay for $50 even. That was $35 for the camera, printer, everything. And $15 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $11.70. That provided me a net return of $34.47, which was an infinite return on investment and a 69% net profit margin. And that concludes our top 10 sales of the week. Quality sales, a little bit less than normal, but they were quality, so everything kind of evened out in the end. It was really neat seeing an update on that Shark vacuum I parted out a year ago, and we were making it a big deal last year. Whenever a part would sell, we would always track it and find out if it matched the sell-through rate, which was very, very interesting. Big thing, big reminder, today is the 28th. You have a few days left to use your store discount, your store coupon. If you have an eBay store, make sure you guys used it. That is literally free money in your pocket as part of your subscription. And to me, it's what makes the subscription actually worth it, is getting supplies. I use mine either for tape or for boxes. I love getting the custom eBay labeled size boxes that come in really handy quite often. As far as everything else in my life is going, like I said, I've been having a really great week, guys. Like I said, I can't tell you enough again how much I appreciate the support from everybody for last week, and I felt like a lot of you guys knew exactly how I felt the week before and what I was going through, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. And I promise, if I ever need to take a week off, I will. I will be completely sorry if there's ever a video that doesn't come out, but I will make sure you guys know. I'll leave a comment letting you guys know there won't be a video coming out. But as always, I appreciate you guys coming here every week. I hope that I'm providing a service to you guys. I hope you're learning something, what to look out for, what to pick. Because that is the intended goal with this. It started off following me when I was a new reseller, and I realized I think I've lost the charm of being a new reseller. I think now I'm just like an intermediate reseller. Like, I actually have some knowledge under my belt. I average 30 sales a week. Like, I kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about. I would not say I'm an expert at this at all yet, but I would say I have some pretty good advice to give out to anybody who's willing to listen, and I'm still willing to listen to everything anybody who says, because let me tell you, this is a job you don't stop learning in, especially when you're scouting for the new inventory. You're trying to find out what's hot, what's culturally hot right now to sell. So yeah, this is a fun job. It really is. It's nice because it provides me to stay home a lot more often to knock out schoolwork and hang out with these two knuckleheads. As you can see, Bandit is in a very loving mood. He's like, come on, Dad, let's go inside. Let's hang out. Another big thing I wanted to talk about in the eBay space, for those who don't know, eBay rolled out a new buyer feedback, and I'm actually kind of surprised by this because since I've started reselling, this is a rare occurrence where the rule they're putting out is actually to the advantage of the seller. So my understanding of this is, and I could be completely wrong, so if I am wrong, please correct me down in the comments. They changed the policy to where if you buy something from somebody, the seller ships it on time, sends it to you, you get it, you're happy with the product. A lot of people don't leave feedback. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Just a lot of people don't think that it's a priority to leave seller feedback, which is a double-edged sword because you're not getting a good feedback, but you're also not getting a bad feedback if it was a bad experience for them. eBay has now changed their feedback policy where after you receive the item, if you don't open a return, file a complaint, or if you don't leave a feedback after 7 days, eBay is automatically giving the seller a positive feedback on the buyer's behalf. So what does this mean? This means like all the people that normally don't leave any feedback whatsoever eBay is just going to force into leaving positive feedback. And I don't know about you guys, but I am 100% sure that rule went into effect this week, because I normally average for a 30-day period anywhere between 40 and 60 feedback. That's where my average sits on a 30-day monthly period. In the last week, my feedback has gone up to 112. There's 111 positive feedbacks and 1 neutral feedback for the last 30 days, as you can see here on the screen. And last Sunday, I was probably sitting at around 45, 50. Is where I was last Sunday when I did the episode. So in a week's time, I've already doubled the number of feedbacks. So this new policy might be a good thing. The only thing I don't like about it is they don't leave any comments. Like obviously eBay is not going to write like everything was smooth transaction, everything was packaged great. They're literally just giving a blank positive comment, which to me looks kind of weird. I prefer, like, if you're going to look at my feedback, you see a wall of people saying best shipping I've ever seen, super fast shipping, well packaged. Like that's what I want my positive feedback to read. Like I want it to read like, because shipping's the only thing I truly have control over, and it's the only thing that matters. So those are my favorite comments to see, which I get quite a few of. But I do like the fact that I now have 111 positive feedbacks. But I'm curious. Sound off in the comments below. What do you guys think about the new policy? Are you for it? Are you against it? Why are you for or against it? And have you guys noticed a huge increase over the last 7 days in the amount of feedback that you have received? Because like I said, mine has more than doubled in 1 week. So I'm assuming that this new policy came out. I think where I stand on it right now is I think I'm indifferent about it. Like I like the fact that I can see 111 positive feedbacks on my feedback, but I don't like the fact that the majority of them are blank and don't actually share personal experiences, and eBay's just forcing the positive. So I'm really split on it, but I'm willing to go either way on it. So you guys let me know what your feelings are on it. Other than that, school's going really good. The class that I'm struggling in, I told you guys I got a C+ and a B- a couple weeks ago. I pulled two A's out of that class this week, so I'm feeling a lot better. Brought my average back into the A- territory. That one was really making me nervous and really making me upset, but it's challenging. I'm loving it, and I thank you guys who are always wanting to know how I'm doing and always supporting me in my college work. You guys are awesome, and I thank you for that. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to put out this week. I don't know if I'm going to go sourcing. I have enough items in my death pile where I don't have to go sourcing, but the death pile is getting a little bit, it's getting a lot smaller than it was, which is a good thing. But I also like having stuff built up where if I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything, I got stuff I can pull off the shelf and go. But yeah, as far as the house move, a lot of you asked me where's that at, where are we at on the house move. So I had a guy who was willing to do it. Another guy called me. He's going to do it. He talked with the other guy, and they worked it out to where he was going to take it. Filled the paperwork out for the move. We have not set up a date yet to do the move. I'm just hoping we get it done. Haven't heard from him this week at all. I think I already gave you guys these updates last week. I don't know, but I'm just making sure you guys know you guys are on the same point because a lot of you guys have been asking, which I appreciate. Hopefully I get it moved before the winter. I have to get it moved before the winter, but road restrictions are going to be coming up here. I mean, we're almost in October, so road restrictions are going to be up, and then you can't move it after a certain point once winter hits. And usually I think that's like mid to late October. So if this doesn't come together quickly, it ain't going to come together at all. Yeah. Other than that headache, everything's going really good. As always, I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you guys have a great week to come. And hopefully, I'll be doing good enough to where I'll see you guys next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone. I remember when Rock was young. Me and Susie had so much fun. Holding hands and skipping stones.